Welcome back. In this video we're going to get the box mounted, the fenders moved forward, the running boards shortened. Let's get to the footage. So I think the first step with mounting this bed is we're going to take off the angle iron that used to hold up the wood bed floor. We're not going to use that. Excuse me. So we're going to pull the bed sides off and then drill probably 1,000 spot welds out and get those out of the way. And then we'll reassemble the bed and start putting some crossbars in there and making sure this thing's square and in position. So I got the angle iron cut off. I got 2 bars cut at 50 inches. I got even my mounts trimmed up a bit to stay clear. I'm gonna run the bars across. I'm having a hell of a time trying to get this thing square on the frame. It just, wherever I measure, it's always off. It doesn't make sense. So I'm gonna attempt to pick up the box and put it on the floor over here by myself and then square it up, weld some of these square tubing in there just to hold it square, and then put it back on and then build the mounts. So that's what we're going to try to tackle here. Alright guys, welcome back. It's been a few weeks since I had a chance to last work on the truck. Last time I was trying to get the box square and trying to get a measurement between the cab and the box, and it wasn't happening. The cab's too rounded to be sure I'm the same on both sides. So I was thinking about it. I'm just gonna put the fenders back on and the running boards back on, and the distance between the running boards and the front fender to the rear fender should center my box, hopefully. So we're gonna start with that, put both sides on, and the box should be, hopefully, centered. Okay, we've got both sides on, and I guess my problem was this front bed panel. It's beat to shit and it's pushing forward into the cab. There's no gap as of now. So that panel will get replaced. I'm gonna order a new one. I do have a gap there. It will be the correct gap when the panel's not beaten. It's even on both sides now, so that solved my problem. Don't even have to worry about the distance and everything because the running boards did that for me. So now we're gonna start focusing on the mounting. Last time I cut up these mounts a bit. We're gonna do one on each side. I got a 1x2 steel pipe across, and we'll drill some holes and then be able to mount it through that way. Okay, new plan. I realized that if I use these original mounts, the bar going across is just gonna run into the fuel pump. So we're gonna use this cross member. I'm gonna take the bolt from the mounts, feed it through here somehow, have it sticking up. I'll weld that in so it can't spin. And then that plus a bushing will give me my height to set the bar across, and I'll weld the bar from box side to box side. We'll do that there. The back mounts, I could use just the original mounts, that won't be an issue, and then there'll be a mid one too, that won't be an issue. Okay, I got this bar tacked in for now, sitting on the studs on the bushings. There's a lot of guessing going on. I kind of wish I had another one of these trucks to measure things off of, but I don't. So I went off of the door jamb, was totally level, the frame's level, put a level on here, the box side's level. It's centered this way, it's leveled that way. It should be good. I mean, worst case is I get this thing outside and it looks a bit weird, I could shim the box. But I don't think I will have to. I think this is looking correct to me as of now. But you never know until you really stand back and take a good look at it. Anyways, the front's done. We're gonna do one in the back. I'll get this back one in, and then I will cut out these mounts that we don't use, that we're no longer using, and then let it sit on its own weight. Alright, I got this back brace made up. I ended up lifting it a little bit more. I have a 1.5 inch metal spacer in there. For one, not that it really matters, I still could get to the spare tire tool to lower the spare tire. Otherwise I'd have to take that out and the bar would run right in front. But more importantly, it raises it to the same height as this bar and the middle of the frame, so when it comes to putting a floor in here, it'll be much easier. Be all one same level. So we're going to tack that into the sidewalls, or into the bed sides, and we'll cut out this back brace. So I just banged out the third one. It's the only one that actually went to plan. Just sitting on top of the mounts, hole drilled through, I'll just nut and bolt it. Simple. This thing's pretty solid already. Entire truck moves with it, and there's not even bolts on it. These are just sensors. So I'm happy with that. Now since the bed's finalized and where it's sitting, I'm okay to move these fenders forward. So I'm going to take a lot of measurements and see how many inches I have to come forward with them, and then re-drill the holes. So it looks pretty centered there. I took some measurements and it's moving forward 3 inches, which is actually perfect because the Envoy is 113 inch wheelbase, where these 3100 trucks are 116 inch wheelbase. So 3 inches is easy. I guess I could have just done that and checked after, but I think that looks centered. There's 2 rivet heads on the fender, and that is pretty in line with the center of the hub. So I'm going to re-drill the box sides, each hole just 3 inches over, perfectly level, and then it should line up pretty good. I'm going to have to trim this mount now, or I was just going to do it once I had the box off, but it's going to hit where the fender goes. So I'll have to come cut that guy out of there, at least trim it for now. Here's something at the door here. So I actually made this tool, and what I did is I drilled a hole with a bolt, and then exactly 3 inches away I drilled another hole. I made the tool big enough that my level could sit on there. So now I stick it in the factory hole, move it until my level is perfect in the bubble, just like that. Perfect. Next. This way I'll know everyone's moved exactly the same amount forward. Hopefully every single one will be perfectly loaded. Got the fenders re-drilled. They look pretty centered now. Pretty happy with that. I ended up actually moving about 4.5 inches, not 3 inches, which is okay, is what it is. Looks good. Passenger side's done. So now we're going to start screwing around with the running boards. First we got to make them shorter, make it mold into the front fender, and then we got to build mounts for them. Alright, got the first cuts on the running board. Here's the rough idea. Be a lot more molded into it. Still gotta clean that up. There's the overall look of it. Pretty stoked on that. She's looking pretty good. Okay, we're back working on the running board. I got my contour pretty good with the fender. Now I have these ribs that go all the way to the end, unlike the rear, where it's got a nice piece where it's nice and flat. So I cut out the back bracing on this end, and I'm going to try to flatten these out and create that flat part. I've never done something like this, but I'm thinking if I just cut some slots, hammer it all flat, re-weld it together, metal, grind it and everything, it should turn out okay, but let's give it a try. So far it looks like that's worked out pretty well. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I got a nice step down there. This is looking decently flat, so now I'm just going to start placing some tacks, start welding it back together, and we'll see how it turns out once it's all grinded flat. So we got it all metal worked out. It actually turned out really nice. I'm really happy with it. Thin layer of filler and you'll never notice a change. Hopefully the camera can pick that up okay. Fits the contour pretty good. Happy with that. So now I'm going to weld in some band steel to make a flange on the front of this. Damn, that turned out nice. Here's the finished product. I'm super happy with how it turned out. First time doing it, just kind of had an idea. I'm stoked about that. Pretty proud of that one. let's go test fit it on the truck. That looks good. Probably spent way too much time on one running board, but fuck, that looks nice. Trying to make it so that when you walk up to it, when it's all done, you don't really know what's been done. If I would have left those ribs going straight into the fender, you would have looked at it and yeah, that was cut. Looks pretty smooth right now. A little bit of filler, some sanding. She'll turn out real nice. Really happy how that turned out. Alright, we also got the passenger side done. Came out nice as well. Very happy with that. Alright, we're gonna wrap up the video here after the running boards. I'm not gonna build the mounts for them yet. I'm gonna wait for my air suspension to come in. I did order it. It's got a couple week build time on it and plus shipping or whatever. I don't know when it'll be in, but when it's in, it's in. I don't want to build the mounts yet just in case I have to move maybe the front end up or something like that. I threw the front wheel on and the door on just for some good visuals. It's looking like a solid truck now. You know, I don't know what's been a few months. It was an Envoy. Now it's a 50 Chevy. It's looking pretty good. That's the end of video 7. What do you guys think of the build? What are you guys thinking of the channel? You guys liking all the time lapse? You guys liking the build? Anything you guys are not liking? Hit me up in the comments. Appreciate all the comments, all the likes, all the subscribers for sure. Thank you guys.